we are seeing, I think, terrible things happening. But on the specifics of this meeting and this conference, it would seem to me that Romania has already done a lot of what is required. And it seems to me, anyway, that we should avoid the lessons, or should learn from the lessons of the sad results of refugees, especially in the Middle East and the Arab world, where we have had permanent populations between a permanent status of being a refugee. There are several million Syrians in Lebanon and Jordan and elsewhere who have not been integrated. In fact, in the case of Lebanon, it's different, but in the case of Jordan, they made special camps for them, where the provision of minimal human needs is the best that can be done, or the most that is anticipated. One of the problems that I think Romania and Europe and others have is that we really don't know how long this is going to continue. And therefore, is that just a short-term adjustment that you're making? You absorb some strangers into your home for 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months maybe, or is this going to be things that will extend? In which case, it would seem to me that as academics, we should be recommending 4 things. Number one, that a special group of people, whether from detached from or seconded from the universities, help to work, and the universities, I mean, from people who take care of young children to people who are doing advanced research. We can get both types from the universities, and with some civil servants from ministries of finance and so on. That group of people should have a special task force, shall we call it, should have a special fund to facilitate the provision of shelter, employment, medical facilities, in addition to the educational facilities for the refugee families. By that, I mean there can be structured incentives for people to take up young people who are in their maybe young teens right now for part-time activity and so on, but to normalize their stay and allow them to participate in the educational activities in a more effective fashion than would otherwise be the case. And that, of course, would also require the facilitation by the universities to take the students and the researchers, as well as the schools themselves to adopt them. Secondly, that in general, we must expect that there will be a very severe traumatization of the children, and that therefore special attention should be provided now to avoid the medium to long-term effects of this psychological traumatization that an experience like this will have. And in general, I was involved a long time ago with a study on the youth transitions and what should be done on that. And I think what we should do is to have a 3-step approach. One, you try to expand the opportunities, and second, to enhance the capabilities of the families. I mean, these are small children with mothers who have to find work, employment, etc., to take care of some of the basic needs. And so you enhance capabilities, you expand opportunities, and as a general rule, I would also add always remember to give second chances, if not third chances, for people who do not seem to be able to cope as well as we would think, or those who design the program should think. I think these are very pragmatic ideas that are drawn from long experiences in many countries, and I think it would be done. And I salute Europe also for trying to open its heart and home and heart to the refugees, rather than turn them into refugees in the refugee camps that we see in parts of the Middle East. I think that was a very negative situation. And hey, it's almost 10 years now, more than 10 years for some of those camps. So these are my quick observations on this, and I hope we will bring up some additional thoughts as we proceed with this meeting on what could be done. Finally, I would hope also that as academics, and this is an important point, as academics, we should be participating in the documentation to the extent we can with our colleagues from Ukraine. This should not go without accountability. And I think there's an enormous amount of work to do from organizing the enormous amount of documentation from handheld telephone videos to CNN, BBC, TV5, whatever it is, footage from other situations, which would be able to document more accurately for another day, but for holding accountable people for what they are doing. I think we are all witnessing the horrors of civilian attacks on civilians, from residences to schools to hospitals to children's hospitals. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. But we are facing a true reality. We've seen this happen in Syria before, with cluster bombs dropped on civilian neighborhoods as well. So this time around, we should not allow the false narratives or alternative facts that are being produced by the guilty parties to muddy the waters. And well, that's in a sense what we academics are very good at. I mean, this is our job most of the time. If you're writing a scientific paper, you try to analyze the data as forcefully and as effectively as you can. If you are writing history, you disentangle the realities from the myths and so on. And we should be, I think, that is something which we can do perhaps better than any other community. Doctors have their own immediate tasks, educators have classrooms to deal with, and so on. But as academic researchers, I think that we should be organizing ourselves already, collecting information, organizing it, etc., to be able to one day bring it back to where it will do the most good. And I seize the moment again to thank you, Mr. President Constantinescu, and Gary, and all our friends from NGIC who are here, that we can brainstorm together about what is the best things that we can do. Thank you.